Welcome into another edition of Camp Dolphins All Access. I'm Mike Cunio, joined by Steve Goldstein and thousands of Dolphin fans behind us here for another open practice in Miami Gardens. Goldie, we talked to a lot of the offensive assistant coaches this morning. What was your big takeaway? I know you spoke to offensive line coach Matt Applebaum. The 5 not officially set, but we're working towards that, aren't we?
I'm inspired, Cunio. I mean, I look like a coach right now. I'm going to talk like this so you can't hear, so no one can steal the secrets.
You got to be very guarded about what plays you're calling.
100%. No, it was good to talk to all those guys. And, so many of them are new. A lot of them were with Mike McDaniel at some stop, whether it was San Francisco or in Matt Applebaum's case, coaching the offensive line. His recent job was at Boston College. He was with McDaniel 10 years ago in Washington. So pretty interesting thoughts from Matt Applebaum saying how, in this offense in particular, the running backs and the offensive line, it's almost like one unit. And you're meshing a lot of new players together. He did mention having the 2 veterans on that offensive line, Teron Armstead at left tackle, and as you say, not set yet, but Connor Williams has been the center. Those guys are helping out those other players as well. But he did make a point to say Liam Eichenberg, who I think is in a great spot in between those 2 veterans, along with Hunt and Jackson while they're young, he looks at them as kind of veteran players as well because they've got games under their belt.
That's a great point. I never thought about that. Liam Eichenberg is basically going to be protected by those 2 veterans and can learn from them at the same time in his second year. You mentioned the running backs. It's a very crowded room. We've talked about it a lot. How do you think that ends up working out? Yeah,
Eric Studesville pointed out when I asked him about it, he said, he's coaching the running backs. He was here last year. He said 7 running backs and 2 fullbacks. Now, they're keeping a fullback because the fullback's necessary in this offense. How does it work out? I think the 3 guys they brought in, Mike, are automatics. I mean, Chase Edmonds, Mostert, and Sony Michel are automatics. How many more they keep after that is a question mark. You've got Gaskin and Ahmed, who have been around here for a little while, a number of years now. You've got Zaquandre White, who was an undrafted player, pretty interesting story, linebacker at Florida State, went to community college, wound up at South Carolina, moved to running back, and he got hurt Senior Bowl week. So he kind of slipped through the draft, and they've obviously liked him enough to keep him around. So I think the 3 are in, and then it's intense competition after that, and there could be a name or 2, as you've mentioned before, the Dolphin fans know well that may not be here on September 11th.
Yeah, there's a lot. A lot's going to happen throughout training camp. Someone around the league inevitably gets hurt, and who knows, maybe the Dolphins are in play to trade someone. We don't know, but there are a lot of good running backs on this roster. You mentioned White. We talked about training camp darlings. We've been talking about so many of the starters so far through camp. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought him up. So here we are. We're just a couple days away from shipping off to Tampa. You're going to be on the call there. What have you noticed about the energy and excitement from the fans that we've seen at practice the last few days?
I think, they're eating it up. Yeah. They're eating up Tyreek with the backflip and get your popcorn ready, and then the other guys kind of having some fun with it. And, just kind of the tone Mike McDaniel set here. And it's, it's business. They got to get down to work, but have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And while you're doing it, and you noted this many times, practices are a little bit shorter. The reps may not be as many for everybody. Just ask Preston Williams about that.
Yep.
But when you've got that rep, go all out. Simulate the game as much as possible. So energy is what I would say. And that's going on week 1 around a lot of NFL training camps. Once you get into those days, McDaniel talked day 1. Later on, he wants teammates to be able to pick each other up when they don't have what he calls the juice.
Right.
And it's hot out here, and you're doing it every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of just a new, fun attitude.
Yeah.
And it comes from the head guy.
In the NFL, July and August, the months of hope, because everyone's still 0-0 right.
Everyone's got a shot.
Even
the Jaguars got a shot.
Well, you don't need to take shots at
No,
our
I'm
friends
just
up in Jacksonville. Coach Goldstein, thanks for joining us.
Okay, Michael, I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Okay, I hear it. For Goldie, I'm Mike Cunio for another edition of Camp Dolphins All Access.